Hey everyone, welcome back to Smart Spiritual Solutions. In this channel, we use the scriptures to solve everyday problems and improve our overall lifestyle. In this video, I want to talk to you about how we can learn to be grateful, how we can develop a sense of contentment with gratitude, and I'll be giving you 3 biblical tips that we can use to do so. So, number 1 is to understand the value or significance of the things you have. If you are a child, for example, and you wake up every morning, there's food on your table, there's peace and all that, it might be easy to take that for granted because it's like, oh yeah, right, that's just normal. But there are a lot of places where that just isn't normal because of given circumstances. So it's about understanding the significance of what you enjoy from day to day. Because when you understand the goodness that you enjoy, then you will begin to need less. You'll begin to want less. And you'll begin to be happier just with the things you have. To give you an example, the Israelites in the wilderness were a bunch of people who didn't really understand the value of the things God did for them, excluding people like Joshua and Caleb. If you look at Deuteronomy chapter 4, verses 32 to 34, Moses had reminded them of all the great things God did for them, how he took them as a nation out of another nation, that is Egypt, through all kinds of signs and wonders, the 10 plagues that we read about, and all the other things that God did, the parting of the Red Sea, and even when they were in the wilderness, how God fed them with food that fell from heaven, how waters gushed out from the rocks, how their clothes never wore out, if you read Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 4 and chapter 29 verse 5, and all the other things God did to protect them. But in many cases, they forgot about that. They weren't grateful. And they began to focus on the things God didn't do for them. Like if you read Exodus chapter 16 verses 1 to 3 and chapter 17 verses 1 to 4 and so on. They were constantly nagging and murmuring against God because they forgot about the significance of the things God did for them. Then the second tip is to build our happiness or joy around the things that we have and not postpone it until when we get the things that have not yet come. What I mean is that we should build our happiness around the things God has provided and not say, oh, I'm not going to thank God until the next thing that I've prayed for. He's given them to me. The Apostle Paul kind of used his own example as a way we can learn how to be content and grateful. If you read Philippians chapter 4, verses 11 and 12, he spoke about him being content with however much or however little he had. He said, not that I speak in respect of want, for I have learned in whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content. I both know how to be abased and I know how to abound. Everywhere and in all things I am instructed both to be full and to be hungry, both to abound and to suffer need. Furthermore, he said in 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6, but godliness with contentment is great gain. So when we are content with the things we have, then we'll find it a lot easier to be grateful because whatever we have is big in our eyes, and then whatever we don't have is small. Whereas with the Israelites, it was the opposite. Whatever God did for them, as significant as it was nothing. But it was the little that they didn't have, like the cucumbers and the melons that they were complaining about in Numbers chapter 11, verses 4 to 6, that became so big. And that was what caused all the problems that they had with God in the wilderness. Then the third tip is to not invest in complaining. The reason why we shouldn't invest in complaining, that is to complain all the time, is that complaining has a way of draining our memory of the things that have been done for us, the good things that we enjoy, and making our mind to focus on the things that we don't yet have, be it small or big. And let's go back to the Israelites because, like I said, they're a really good example of how ingratitude looks like. God Almighty did so many great things for them. But because they kept on complaining, in fact, in Numbers chapter 14, verses 22 to 24, God said that they've murmured against him these 10 times. So So they kept on complaining and complaining and complaining, and because they kept on doing it, they practically forgot about how God delivered them from Egypt and all the things He did for them. But it was the little things that they suffered in the wilderness that now became so big. And then they started talking about it over and over and over again. And that was what really made their relationship a bit sour in the wilderness. But people like Joshua and Caleb, they didn't forget about what God did. And that was why they were confident to enter the land. They were confident to occupy. If you read Numbers chapter 13, verses 27 to 30, and they were grateful for what God did with them. That was what the Israelites missed. And as Christians, we should invest in rejoicing for the things God has done for us and not in complaining for the things He has not. So, those are the 3 tips. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified when we come back with another Smart Spiritual Solutions video. Have a great day and God bless you.